Hello all, welcome to Paritranaya. In this class, we shall discuss about an important topic, that is union and its territory. So, in part 1 of the constitution, we have 4 articles, article number 1 to article number 4. So, these articles, they deal with union and its territory. So, we already know that our constitution consists of totally 22 parts. So, part 1 to part 22. So here we are focusing on part 1. So apart from these parts, we also have 12 schedules, schedule 1 to schedule 12. Okay. So here we'll be discussing about article number 1 to 4. So what does article number 1 tell us? Article number 1 tells us that India, that is Bharat, is a union of states rather than federation of states. So it says that India, so totally it uses 2 information. One is name of the country. So we either call it as India or Bharat. So we have 2 different references to our country in our constitution. One is India and the other is Bharat. Next, article 1 also speaks about the type of polity. Okay, so what kind of system do we have? So it is union of states. So here we shall just understand at the superficial level. So the difference between union of states and federation of states. Now, federation indicates whenever a nation has been formed based on the understanding or agreement between the states, then we call it as federation. But here, in case of India, India as a country has not been formed based on the understanding between the states. So hence, India is not a federation of states. India is not a federation of states, but it is a union of states. So just we shall understand at the superficial level. Now, initially itself, if we focus on all these aspects, then we will get confused. So for time being, you can just ignore it. You understand that India is a union of states. Next, very important. Our country India is a union, although its constitution is federal in structure. So here it is very much important for us to understand what is this federal. So we often encounter this word. Okay, federal system. So what is this federal system? Whenever we have one government at the center and other government or government at the and a different government at the state level, then we say that there exists a federal system. Now the next question is whether India has a federal system. Yes, India has a federal system because we have seen one government at the center. Presently we have Modi government at the center. Similarly, if you take any example of a state, in state we have Bommai government, or Basavaraj Bommai is the chief minister of Karnataka. Similarly, if we take Tamil Nadu, then Stalin. Okay, MK Stalin is the chief minister of Tamil Nadu. So we have Stalin government. So here what we understood, one government at the center and one government at the state level. So it means India has a federal structure or federal system. Okay, federal system. Now often we also come across a term called as federal government. Federal government. See here, both of them are different. So when we say federal system, one government at center and one government at state. But when we say federal government, it means we are referring to central government. So federal government is nothing but central government. Federal government is nothing but central government. Okay, central government. Next, here during the framing of our constitution, when discussions were going on in the Constituent Assembly, at that time, so some were proposing the idea of having or calling India as Federation of States. But Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, they said that India should not be called as Federation of States, but rather it should be called as Union of States. Okay. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar preferred the phrase Union of States rather than Federation of States. Okay. And for that, he'll give the reason. What is the reason? Indian Federation is not the result of an agreement among the states like the American Federation. So what is the reason given for this? If you look at America, USA, so we have many states, like we have in India, Karnataka, Maharashtra. So here also we have in USA many states. For example, state 1, state 2, and so on. So USA as a country, it has been formed based on the understanding or agreement between all the states. Okay, all the states. But India as a country has not been formed based on the understanding between the states. Okay, it is not based on the agreement between the states. That is why, so we call it as Union of States rather than federation. Okay, federation. Another very important aspect is in India, states do not have rights to secede. States do not have right to secede from the federation. So what does it mean? It means no country can propose an idea of forming a separate country. For example, now Karnataka cannot say that I want to come out of India and I want to form my own country. So that is called a secession. So such kind of provisions do not exist. So states have no right. So no state can claim that or it can fight for having a separate country of its own. Okay. So there is no such provision. Very important. So federation is union because it is indestructible. So Indian Federation is union because it is indestructible. So India, it cannot be destroyed. It cannot be destroyed. Again, later on we shall understand the deeper aspects of this particular statement. Okay. Statement. Next, country is integrated whole. Okay, our country is an integrated whole. Our country is only one, but states division only for administrative convenience. Now, if all Indians are one, if the country is integrated, then why do we have states? So such kind of questions might arise. So the only intention of having multiple states is in order to ease the convenience of the administration. Okay, the only reason for having states is to ease the administration and nothing else. So as a country, it's not integrated whole. Integrated whole. Next. So Article 1 of the Constitution. Article 1 of the Constitution, it classifies the territory of India into 3 types. Okay. So if we take India, its territory has been classified into 3 types. What is that? Territory of states. So first one is territory of states. So territory of states means here we have all the 28 states, right? So territories of states, the area occupied by those states. So it includes, for example, Karnataka, it includes Nagaland, it includes Punjab and so on. So territories of states. So territories of India classification, first is territories of states, next it also includes union territories. So India has 8 union territories, right? So here we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands, here we have Lakshadweep, here we have Puducherry, here we have Chandigarh, so Dadra and Nagar Haveli. So all the union territories are there, right? So I'll just write an example: Andaman and Nicobar Islands, okay, etc. Next, territories that may be acquired by the government of India at any time. Okay, let us create an imaginary scenario that somewhere in the future, government will acquire, let us assume, some part of Nepal here. Okay, Nepal. So this acquired territory from Nepal will also come under Article 1. Okay, Article 1's definition. So territories that may be acquired by the government of India at any time. Next, special provisions under Article 21. So when we start discussing about part 21, not Article 21, sorry, it is part 21. So in part 21, we'll come to know that there are some special provisions with respect to Maharashtra, Gujarat, Nagaland, Assam, Manipur, Andhra Pradesh, Sikkim, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Goa. Okay. So here the general provisions relating to these states as a class are overridden, or they override the general provisions. It means whatever the rules apply to the whole of India, whatever the rules generally that apply to the whole of India, they will not apply to these states in a specific matter. Okay, in a specific matter. So what is that specific matter? We'll be discussing of these things later on when we start discussing about part 21. Okay. Similarly, we have 5th and 6th schedules. So when we start discussing about 5th and 6th schedules, at that time we'll come to know that there are separate provisions. Okay, there are separate provisions for few areas in India. Okay, and whatever the general rules that apply to the whole of India will not apply to the 5th and 6th schedule areas. So which are those areas and why they do not apply? All these things we'll be discussing later on. Okay, for the time being, we'll be postponing it. Now let us understand the definition of territory of India. Okay, territory of India. So here we are using 2 terms. One is territory of India. The other is Union of India. Union of India. So what is the difference between territory of India and Union of India? Whether both of them are same or they are different. So here Union of India term is a narrow term and territory of India is a wider term. So when I say Union of India, it includes only states. So when I say Union of India, it includes only 28 states. Okay. So Karnataka, Maharashtra, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, all the 28 states it includes. But when I say territory of India, it includes states, means 28 states plus 8 union territories plus any other territories that India may occupy in the future. Okay. So that's why territory of India is a wider term than Union of India. Okay. Union of India. Next, what is the fundamental difference between a union territory and a state? Very important difference that we need to understand. Okay. So let us take an example. So here we have Andaman and Nicobar Island, and next let us take an example of Karnataka. Example of Karnataka. Now, if I want to do any kind of laws, let me take an example. So let me take an example of banking. Banking. And let me take an example of health. Health. Health and banking. Now, Karnataka, it wants a law related to banking. So, can Karnataka make a law related to banking? No. Now, Karnataka wants a law related to health. Can Karnataka make a law on health? Yes. So, why is that so? Already we have discussed in the previous class. What is that? In 7th schedule, we have how many lists? We have 3 lists. So which are those 3 lists? Union list, which is called as list 1. Next, state list, which is called as list 2. Next, third one is concurrent list. Or list 3. So here we understood that at the superficial level, banking is a subject of union list and health is a subject of state list. So that is why Karnataka can make a law on the subject which is present in the state list. So it can make a law on health. Whereas when it comes to banking, only union, center can do it. Okay, center can do it. So can center make a law on health? No, center cannot make a law on health because health is a state subject. Okay, health is a state subject. There are few exceptions which we will be discussing later on. But in general, center cannot make a law on subject called as health. Okay, subject called as health. Now let us take Andaman and Nicobar Islands. When we want some law related to banking in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, who will do it? Center will do it. Union will do it. Next, similarly, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, they want a law on health. Okay, law on health. So who will do this law? Whether Andaman and Nicobar state government will do. Okay, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, it does not have a state government. Okay, there are few union territories which have state government as well. We will be discussing about them later on. But here for Andaman and Nicobar Islands, who will make the law? Center. Okay, center. Center itself will make a law on health with respect to union territories. Whereas with respect to states will make the laws for themselves. So this is the fundamental difference. So states share distribution of powers. So states share distribution of powers with the center with the help of 7th schedule. But union territories, they do not have distribution of powers. So union territories, they are completely or directly administered by the central government. Here CG indicates central government. Okay, central government. Very important. So central union territories are directly under the control of central government. This is the fundamental difference between a state and union territory. Next, as a sovereign state. So what do we understand by sovereign? As we have already discussed, sovereign means self-rule. Means whatever laws we want, we will make laws for ourselves. Whatever decision we want to make for our country, we will do it on our own. Will not be dependent on some third party. Okay, on third party. So as a sovereign country, what all things we can do? Let us just have a glance over it. So India can acquire foreign territories. Important. So okay, whether India can acquire foreign territories? Yes, as a sovereign country, we can acquire foreign territories. Okay, we have that right. So what are the according to modes recognized by international law? Okay, international law. So let us not go into the deeper aspects. At a superficial level, through secession. Okay, so one way of acquiring a foreign territory is through Example, purchase. For example, you will pay some money and you will occupy a foreign territory. For example, you will pay some amount and you will take a territory from Nepal. Okay. So this is through cession. Next, occupation. Now let us assume there is some land which is present over here and it is not occupied by anyone. So as there is no ruler, so this land will be taken by India. This is just an example. That is by occupation. Next, conquest or subjugation. So by defeating someone, let us assume in Bhutan there is some king, so we'll defeat Bhutan king and we'll take some territory out of it. This is just an example. Okay. So in this way, in various different ways, we can acquire the foreign territory. One is through cession, next occupation, or conquest or subjugation. Okay, subjugation. Next, whether India has acquired any foreign territory? Yes, there are examples of India having acquired what foreign territory. One is Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Goa, Daman and Diu, Puducherry and Sikkim. Okay. So when did India acquire? How did it acquire? All these things we'll be discussing later on. Okay, later on. Next, Article 2. So here we'll be discussing about Article 2 and Article 3 with the help of a difference. So what is the major difference between Article 2 and Article 3? Okay. So in both the cases, it empowers Parliament. It means Parliament is powerful. So with respect to what matters, we shall see. Now there are two different ways of creating a state. One is, now this is our India. So we have 28 states and union territories. Now let us assume this is Nepal. Okay, this is Nepal. So from Nepal, I'll take a small part from Nepal. I'll take a small part from Nepal. Somehow, let us assume by paying money, I'll take a small territory of Nepal. After taking this, what I should do? I should admit it into India. Okay, I should admit it into India. It means I should give a new name to it. I should give a new name to it and I should call that this is part of India. This is part of India. So when we acquire a new territory or when we create a new state, okay, new state, so that is dealt by Article number 2. Article number 2 empowers Parliament to admit into Union of India or establish new states on such terms and conditions. So now don't get confused. So we are taking a new territory and we are forming a new state. Okay, new state. So that is possible with the help of Article number 2. So here, who can do this? Only Parliament can do this. Only Parliament can do this. For example, we have Uttar Pradesh here. So can Uttar Pradesh take a new small territory from Nepal? No. State governments, they do not have the power. State legislatures do not have the power. Then who has the power to take the territory from other country? Only Parliament has the power. Very much important. Okay. So it can admit into Union of India new states. Okay. New states. So establish new states. It can even establish new states as well. Okay. New states as well. This is about Article number 2. Next, Article number 3. So Article number 3, what it does not deal with taking or creation of new states. It deals with reorganization of states. Okay, what is reorganization of states? For example, merging two states and forming one state. That is an example of reorganization of state. Next, bifurcating a state and forming two states. So this is an example of what? A reorganization of states. So an example is, previously we had Andhra Pradesh as a state. In 2013, what we did? Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated into two states. One is Telangana and another one is Andhra Pradesh. So what is this? This is an example of reorganization within the country. So this will happen with the help of Article number 3. Article number 3. Next, again, who can do it? Whether the state governments or state legislatures of legislature of Andhra Pradesh has that right? No. The state legislature of Andhra Pradesh does not have that power. Again, when it comes to internal reorganization, who can do it? Only Parliament can do it. Okay. So deals with internal readjustment of the territories of the constituent states of the Union of India. So how it will internally reorganize, we shall see. Okay, we shall discuss about Article number 3. Article number 3. Okay. So now we got to know that within India, in order to form a new state, who has the power? Parliament has the power. So how does a Parliament form a new state? Through a bill. Okay, through a bill. So it will pass a bill, and when that bill becomes act, it means we can create an extra state. So we shall discuss with the help of an example. Okay, example. So what all powers Parliament enjoys? Form a new state. by separating, okay, by uniting. Increase the area of any state. Okay, now let us assume we can increase the area of Karnataka like this. Who can do it? Only Parliament can do it. Alter the boundary of any state. Now let us assume the boundary of these two states exists here. It can alter the boundary like this. Who can do it? Only Parliament can do it. Alter the name of any state. Okay, previously Karnataka was called as Mysore. Next, Mysore was renamed to Karnataka. Who can rename the states? Who has this power? Parliament. So in this context, we need to have the general curiosity. What is that curiosity? Whenever we want to rename the state, then Parliament can do it. Suppose if we want to rename a district, then who can do it? This question we should pose to ourselves and try to find the answer for this. So before the next class, I'll urge you to find the answer for this question, that who can form a new district or who can rename a district, okay, whether center or state. Okay, so Parliament can do all these things. Now next, I'll take an example. Form a new state by separating one territory from the other. So let us consider the example of Andhra Pradesh itself. So before Andhra Pradesh was bifurcated into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, we had only one state, that is Andhra Pradesh. So this whole of state was called as Andhra Pradesh. Okay, Andhra Pradesh. So how will that process begin? That process begins like this. So a bill will be introduced. So what does this bill say? This bill says that we want to divide Andhra Pradesh into two states. One is Telangana, another one is Andhra Pradesh. Okay, a bill will be introduced in the Parliament saying that we want to bifurcate the state of Andhra Pradesh into two states. One is Telangana, another one is Andhra Pradesh. So when I say Parliament, it means either it will be introduced in Lok Sabha first or in Rajya Sabha first. Okay, so either it can be introduced in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So let us assume that it has been introduced in Lok Sabha first. But before introducing in Lok Sabha, it requires President's recommendation. Okay, President's recommendation is required. President has to recommend it. So President will recommend to whom? President will recommend to Parliament or Lok Sabha. Okay, let us assume Lok Sabha. So before recommending, so why President will recommend? Because generally the people of some people belonging to the Telangana region, they start doing protests. We want a separate state. So based on that matter, what President will do? President, he'll ask opinion of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, President, before recommending, what he will do? He will refer to state legislature concerned for views. So President, what he will do? He'll ask Andhra Pradesh that your people are fighting, saying that they want a separate state. So what is your opinion? Now Andhra Pradesh will give its opinion. Okay, either it will say yes or it will say no. Andhra Pradesh Assembly, it may say yes or it may say no. Now President, what he will do, whether the response is yes or no, irrespective of that, President will send it to Lok Sabha. He will recommend it to Lok Sabha. It means whatever the opinion the state has given, so that opinion is not binding on President. So it means President is receiving the referring the matter to the state legislature just for namesake. Okay, just for namesake, because whatever the responses he get, he need not follow it. Okay, he is not bounded by it. So once Lok Sabha gets it, what Lok Sabha will do? It will discuss and finally it will pass a bill. Okay, what is that bill? That bill consists of the following provisions. There is a state called as Andhra Pradesh. It has to be divided into two states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Now same bill again, it will go to Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha will also pass it. After that, President will sign it. So once President signs, then what happens? Whatever the Andhra Pradesh is there, it will be divided and it will become two states. So this will be called Andhra Pradesh. This will be called Telangana. Okay, Telangana. Okay. Now next, very important. So when we were passing a bill in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, what kind of majority was required? Whether simple majority was required or special majority was required. Before that, question is whether when we created two states, whether there was a constitutional amendment. Yes, there was a constitutional amendment. But in the forthcoming classes, we will be discussing that there are three different types of constitutional amendments. One is under article number 368 and the other one is not under 368, article number 368. If you are getting confused, for the time being, we'll just ignore it. Okay, we shall ignore it. Here what we need to understand here is, generally when we say constitutional amendment, so constitutional amendments will take place with special majority. Okay, with special majority. So now my question to you is, when Lok Sabha passed a bill to bifurcate Andhra Pradesh into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, similarly when Rajya Sabha passed a bill to bifurcate Andhra Pradesh into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, so what kind of majority it required? So very important to understand, it required simple majority. Okay, simple majority. So in this case, it requires simple majority and not special majority. Okay, simple majority and not special majority. And also this kind of amendment does not take place under article number 368. This kind of amendment, it does not take place under article number 368. Now at the superficial level you understand that it does not take place under article number 368. So later on we shall see what is article number 368. Here we need to understand that such kind of bills will be passed with simple majority and it does not require special majority. Okay, special majority. Next, in case of union territory, no need of reference. So we saw that President sent a reference to Andhra Pradesh before what, bifurcating. Similarly, if we want to bifurcate, let us assume a union territory into two parts. Let us assume we want to divide Andaman and Nicobar Islands into two parts. Okay, two different union territories. At that time, we need not seek the permission of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, so here, in case of union territory, no need of reference. Next, what we understood, Parliament can redraw political map of India. Yes or no? Yes, Parliament can redraw political map of India. How it can redraw? See here. Now we saw that Andhra Pradesh was split into two parts. Similarly, if Parliament wishes, then it can split Uttar Pradesh into four parts. If it wants, it can split Maharashtra into two parts. So all these powers, they are enjoyed by what? Parliament. So Parliament has the power to redraw the whole political map of India. Okay, political map of India. Hence, territorial integrity or continued existence of any state is not guaranteed by the Constitution. So UPSC may ask such kind of question, whether territorial integrity of a state is guaranteed by the Constitution? No. So what does it mean? It means now a state, Karnataka is there. So this is its territory. So can we guarantee that this shape always remains the same? The Constitution does not guarantee it. So tomorrow if a situation arises wherein a need will arise to divide Karnataka into two parts, then who can do it? Parliament can do it. So Parliament has that power. So we cannot guarantee that eternally the shape of this Karnataka will remain the same. In the future, so it may get bifurcated, and who has that power? Only Parliament has that power. Okay, Parliament has that power. Okay, it will never happen, but just as an example. Next, India is indestructible union of destructible states. Very important. The same point again they have reiterated, indestructible union. So if you look at the outer map of India, this will always remain same. So that indicates India is indestructible union. Okay, outer map if you look into here, so it will remain same. Of destructible states, what does it mean? Internal reorganization can take place. Now whatever the boundaries we have here, so tomorrow this boundary can come here. So Maharashtra may be split into two states or three states. So here division can occur. So both these states can be merged and a larger state can be formed. So all these possibilities are there. So internally states can be destroyed, but externally India as a union, it cannot be destroyed. That's why it is indestructible union of destructible states. Okay, union government can destroy the states. State governments cannot destroy the union. So why state governments cannot destroy the union? Because a state government cannot secede. Cannot say that I want to take my territory out and I want to form my own country. That's why state governments do not have the right to secede. Whereas in USA, it is indestructible union of indestructible states. It means in USA, the external map will also not change. The internal map will also not change. Okay, it will eternally remain same. Next, Article number 4. Laws made under Article number 2 and Article number 3 are not considered as amendments under Article number 368. So as I mentioned, when it comes to constitutional amendment, one is it happens under article number 368 plus others. Okay, plus others. So here, whatever the states we create, the states that we have created, that amendment, it did not happen under article number 368. For time being, need not worry about it. Okay, need not worry about it. We also saw that when we created states, for example, when we took an example of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, so that bill was passed with simple majority. Okay, simple majority. Next, very important. Now we saw that India can acquire a foreign territory. India can acquire a foreign territory. India can internally reorganize its states. Okay, reorganize its states. Next one part is, can India give some part of it? Means, can it cede its territory? Means, can it give some territory of India to other country? Yes, it can give. Okay, it can give. It can give. Now, here comes an important point. Generally, when we are reorganizing within the country, when we pass a bill, so with what kind of majority? We'll pass it with simple majority. Simple majority. But when we need to cede a territory, means when we need to give our territory to some other country, okay, to some other country, at that time we cannot give it by simple majority. We cannot give it by simple majority. So this was the decision which was given by Supreme Court, and whatever the Supreme Court direction it gives, it has to be followed. So Supreme Court held that it does not include power to cede Indian territory. Okay, so whenever we want to give the Indian territory, so that power is not included. So precedents reference to Supreme Court to examine in the case of, in some case called as Beruberi Union case. So Indian territory can be ceded by amending the constitution under article number 368. Very important. So whenever we want to hand over some part of the Indian territory to others, then we can do it. But through what kind of amendment? Through amendment under article number 368. And when we are amending under article number 368, we require special majority. We require special majority. So here we need to understand, internally when we are reorganizing, Parliament requires just simple majority. But when we are handing over our territory to some other country, then that requires special majority, and that amendment will be considered as amendment under article number 368 of the Constitution. Okay, of the Constitution. Next, another very important. So settlement of boundary disputes. So very often we encounter boundary disputes. For example, boundary dispute between Karnataka and Maharashtra. Similarly, among many states, boundary disputes exist. So who will resolve these boundary disputes? So center can resolve these boundary disputes, and every time whenever a boundary dispute is being resolved, it need not necessarily be resolved with the help of a bill. Okay, sometimes without bill, without act also, center can resolve the boundary disputes. How? Through executive action. Okay, through executive action means Council of Ministers headed by Prime Minister. So they may take a decision to try to resolve the disputes related to boundaries between two states. Okay, between two states. Next, evolution of states and union territories. Okay, so at the time of independence, what all territories we had in India, just at the superficial level we shall see. So at the time of independence, political units, means administrative units in India, they were of two types. So one were British provinces. So they were under direct British control. It means British provinces was represented by a governor. Okay, governor, and the governor was under the control of Britishers. British provinces, and there are few units which are called as princely states. So these princely states were under the rule of a king, Indian king. Okay, Indian king. So just superficial level, British provinces under the control of Britishers, princely states under the control of Indian king. Okay, Indian king. So in 1947, when we got independence, so what were the various options given to princely states? So automatically provinces, they became part of India or Pakistan, but princely states were given some options. So which are they? Let's see. So 1947 Act, it created two independent and separate nations. One is India, another one is Pakistan. So, and next the princely states which were under the control of the kings. So they were given an option. Either you can join India, or you can join Pakistan, or you can remain independent of India and Pakistan. So at that time, there were totally around close to 552 princely states. Okay, princely states. So which were under the control of a Indian king. So among these 552, 549, they joined India. Okay, joined India. Next, 3 refused to join India. So which were those? Which were they? Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir. So Junagadh is in Gujarat. So they refused to join India. So they wanted to remain independent. So at that time, in the future, they were also integrated. How they were integrated? So Hyderabad was integrated into India through police action. Junagadh was integrated into India through referendum, and Kashmir was integrated into India through instrument of accession. Okay. Again, we'll be discussing about all these things later on. So for time being, we shall understand that Hyderabad, Junagadh and Kashmir, initially they refused to join India, but later on they were integrated into India through police action, referendum and instrument of accession. Okay, accession. Next, in 1950, our constitution, it contained fourfold classification. So presently we have only 2 types of administrative units. One is state, another one is union territory. But in 1950, this was not the case. At that time, we had 4 different types of administrative units. So Part A, Part B, Part C and Part D. So now these parts, they are not important because these parts have been removed and they have been replaced. So now all these points, they are not important from exam point of view. Okay, we can go through them, but sometimes it will be difficult to connect, and UPSC will never focus on these kind of aspects. Okay, these kind of aspects. At the superficial level, you just understand that at the time of our India becoming republic in 1950, we had 4 different types of states or administrative units. They were Part A, Part B, Part C, Part D. What were present in Part A, what were present in Part B, what was present in Part C and Part D, they are not important from exam point of view. Okay. So here it is equally important for us to understand the demand of the examination, because now the syllabus is very, we have covered hardly around 3 or 4 topics, but gradually over a period of time, the polity syllabus will become very much bulky. So at that time, we need to understand that what are the things that we need to read and what are the things that need to be skipped. Because we have around close to 8 to 9 subjects and we have to become jack of all the subjects. If we start focusing in depth about every point which exists in Lakshmikant, then probably we will not be able to cover the syllabus. So from that perspective, I will urge you to just ignore these things. Okay, ignore these things. Next, after that, at the same time, there are some demands going on. What were the demands? That we want a separate state based on language. Okay, based on language. So we people who Kannadigas, we want Karnataka. So Tamilians, they said that we want what Tamil Nadu, and people speaking what Telugu, they said that we want Andhra Pradesh and so on. So such kinds of demands were going on. So in order to address these demands, so some commissions were constituted. So let us just look into those commissions. So demand for reorganization of states on linguistic basis based on the language. So there was a demand to create states. So that's why in 1948, Government of India, it appointed Linguistic Provinces Commission. Okay, Linguistic Provinces Commission, and the chairman of this commission was S.K. Dar. S.K. Dar was the chairman. He recommended that reorganization on administrative convenience. It means we will reorganize internally. We will form as many states as are required, but not on the basis of language, not on linguistic factor. Okay, not on the basis of language. So very important. So S.K. Dhar Commission, they refused to reorganize India based on language. Based on language. Based on language. Next, but again people were unhappy. Again they started protesting. Okay, resentment followed. After that, again in 1948, one more committee was formed. So that is called as JVP committee. So this committee consisted of Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah. So they also, similar to S.K. Dar Commission, they rejected language as a basis for reorganization. They said that yes, if you want states, we'll give you states. Okay, we'll form states. But only reason for creation of states should be what administrative ease and not language. Okay, language should not be the basis. So again resentment followed. So again in 1953, government was forced to create first linguistic state. It means first state, Andhra Pradesh, was created, okay, based on language. So there was a heavy pressure on the government, and Potti Sriramulu was protesting continuously to get a state of Andhra Pradesh based on language. So because of that pressure, government first time it created a state based on language, okay, linguistic state. How? By creating by separating Telugu speaking areas from Madras. Okay. So initially one big state was there. So it was split into what, two parts. So Telugu speaking people were given a separate territory and it was called Andhra Pradesh. Okay. It was called Andhra Pradesh. So after this, similar demands they started happening. So in different parts of the country, they too started demanding what, organization of states based on language. So next, what happened? A new commission was constituted, that is Fazal Ali Commission. Okay, Fazal Ali Commission. So Fazal Ali Commission, it consisted of two more members, K.M. Panikar and H.N. Kunjru. So they, for the very first time, they broadly accepted the language as the basis for reorganization. If you look at the previous two commissions, one is Dhar Commission and one more is a PVK Commission. So they did not accept language as a basis for division of states or creation of new states. But Fazal Ali Commission accepted that language can be taken as the basis for the reorganization of the states. Okay, reorganization of the states. But rejected the theory of one language, one state. Okay, it said that we will not give a separate state for every different language. Yes, language can be used as a basis, but that does not mean that every language should get its own state. Okay, they rejected that. Proposal. Its view was that the unity of India should be regarded as a primary consideration in any redrawing of the country's political units. So the main intention, Fazal Ali Commission said that yes, we will redraw the internal boundaries based on the language, but the major intention of redrawing the country is to maintain the unity of India. So never in any way the redrawing of the internal boundaries should cause a threat to India's unity. So this was the thing which they kept in mind before coming up with their final proposal. Next, they identified four major factors to be taken into account in any scheme of reorganization. They said that yes, any states, they can be reorganized, they can be split, they can be bifurcated, two states can be merged, but what should be the major factors that have to be taken into account? The first factor is preserving and strengthening unity and security of the country. So whatever you do, but the first and foremost priority should be given to protecting the unity and security of the country. Next, linguistic and cultural homogeneity. So why will we create states? Because when we create states based on linguistic factors, then most of the government documents can be created in that local language. So that becomes easier for the people as well as for the administration. Okay. Next, financial, economic and administrative considerations. So to ease the administrative convenience. Next, whenever we create whenever we make any kind of reorganization, the only intention should be promotion of welfare of people. Okay, welfare of the people as well as welfare of the nation as a whole. Next, so it suggested abolition of fourfold classification. So based upon that, so initially in 1950, whatever we had A, B, C, D, okay, so that system was eliminated, that was removed. That's why as it has been removed, so now those A, B, C and D, they are not important. Okay, they are not important. Now based upon that 16 states were created and 3 union territories were created at that time. Okay, so that whatever the recommendation was given, so that was accepted. Fazal Ali Commission recommendation was accepted and 16 states and 3 union territories were created. And finally, based on the recommendation, 7th Constitutional Amendment Act was also passed in 1956. And also a new act was brought, States Reorganization Act 1956. Okay, so here it removed all these Part A, Part B things. Okay, so now presently we have only 2 types of administrative units. One is states and union territories. So after 1956, we have states and union territories. We do not have any political units like Part A and Part B or Part C or Part D. So next, so which were the first states to be created after 1956? Maharashtra and Gujarat were created in 1956. Okay, how Bombay was there? Bombay was divided and 2 states were formed. One is Maharashtra, another one is Gujarat. Okay, so in this fashion, Gujarat became the 15th state of India. Next, similarly, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, so they were taken from Portuguese in 1954. Before that, they were under the control of Portuguese. So India acquired them and converted into union territory by 10th Constitutional Amendment 1961. Similarly, when it comes to Goa and Daman and Diu, Goa and Daman and Diu. So we took it from Portuguese in 1961. We took it from Portuguese in 1961 through police action. Okay, through police action. Then through 12th constitutional amendment, in 1962. So both of them, they were made union territories. Goa and Daman and Diu, both of them, they were made union territories. So here it is very important for us to understand that initially in 1962, Goa was a union territory. It was made a union territory. Then it became statehood, or it became state only in 1987. Okay, 87. So these things are very important. So we took it from Portuguese in 61. We made it a union territory in 62. And next we made it a state in 87. Next, similarly, we took Puducherry. So here we have Puducherry. So we took Puducherry from French, okay, in 1954. Next, till 1962 we administered it, and in 1962 we made it an union territory. Okay, union territory. So all these things are important. So from whom did we take Goa? We took Goa from Portuguese. From whom did we take Dadra and Nagar Haveli? From Portuguese. From whom did we take Puducherry? We took it from French. Okay, so all these things are important. Similarly, Nagaland was separated out of Assam. So whatever Nagaland we have here, so it was taken out of Assam. It was taken out of Assam in 1963. Next, Haryana, Chandigarh and Himachal Pradesh. Okay, so Haryana in 1966, it was carved out of Punjab. So from Punjab, a territory was separated and it was called as Haryana. So in 1971, Himachal Pradesh, so until now it was the union territory, now it became a state. In 1971, Himachal Pradesh became state. Next, in 1972, Manipur, Tripura and Meghalaya, all the three, they became states. Before that, they were union territories, but in 72, they became states. Okay, they were made states. Similarly, in 72, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh. So previously, Arunachal Pradesh was called as Northeastern Frontier Province. Okay, so came into being. So they were separated out of Assam. Okay, they were separated out of Assam and separate states were created. Okay, Next, Sikkim. So when it comes to Sikkim, all these details are not important. What we need to understand here is Sikkim became an integral part of India in 1974. Sikkim became an integral part of India in 1974. So all these intermediate things, you can just ignore it. You can ignore it. One more important point here is whenever we come across a term called as Chogyal. Okay, so Chogyal is a word, it's a term associated with Sikkim. So here there are only three terms important: Sikkim, Chogyal term, and Sikkim became an integral part of India in 1974. Okay, 74. Next. So not 74, it's 75. Okay, it became fully integral part of India in 1975. Sikkim. So all these things, they are not important. Just ignore it. Next, Mizoram. Previously, it was just union territory. Now Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh, as well as Goa, so they became states in 1987. Okay, Goa in 1987. So next, Chhattisgarh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand. So Chhattisgarh was carved out of Madhya Pradesh. So whatever Chhattisgarh we have here, so previously this was a big state. So here Chhattisgarh was carved out of Madhya Pradesh. Uttarakhand, so here Uttarakhand, it was carved out of Uttar Pradesh. And Jharkhand, here we have Jharkhand. Previously it was part of Bihar, so it was carved out of Bihar. Okay, so it became the next state. Okay, next state. Next, change of names. So also we shall discuss about the change in names that have taken place. So in 1950, United Province, until now it was called as United Province, but now it became Uttar Pradesh. Similarly, in 1960 until 1969, the state which was called as Madras was renamed to Tamil Nadu. Okay, Tamil Nadu. Next, in 1973, Mysuru became Karnataka. Important. Next, in 1973, Lakadiv, Minicoy and Aminu Islands, so they were renamed as Lakshadweep. In 1992, so Union Territory of Delhi, so it was renamed to what? National Capital Territory. So to all the other union territories, we just refer to them as union territories, but when it comes to Delhi, we refer to Delhi as National Capital Territory of Delhi. Okay, and this took place with the help of 69th Constitutional Amendment of 1991. Okay, 1991. Next, in 2006, Uttarakhand. Okay, previously it was called as Uttaranchal. From 2006 onwards, it was renamed to Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand. Similarly, till 2006, it was called as Pondicherry, but now we call it as Puducherry. Okay, now we call this part as Puducherry. So this was about the changing of names. So in this topic, we discussed about the union and its territory and what is the meaning of federal system and whether India has a federal system or not. And we looked about the organization and reorganization of the states. And finally, we discussed about change of names. Okay. Similarly, in the upcoming classes, we'll be discussing about the important topics related to polity. For all our subsequent classes and further updates, subscribe to our channel and hit on the bell icon. Thank you.